Yeah. So all right, now we do have stack questions. We should go through these
Yep.
questions that we got, right? So the Google program, curiosity about like how do we get into the Google program? How do we find it? What is it useful for? What are we planning to do with it? So you want to let everyone know how we found it, because it was you who found us the way there.
It's a really, so this is a typical example, isn't it? We were in Singapore, and Google had a stand, and to be honest, I had to go back to the stand 3 times to actually get to speak to the right guy, because each time he was away or he was talking to someone else or whatever the case was. But we met again. This is the thing: you go to these places, you meet people face to face, sending messages, sending emails. It has some impact, but it's not the killer impact. So I basically spent about 30 minutes chatting to the head of Web3 for Google. And obviously the first piece was, look, we've got this great product. You should buy into us. You should look to do this. And the point he came back, he said, well, look, we're really picky on who we deal with. We're not, we don't accept everyone. It's probably unlikely to happen. He gave me the example. He recommended I think it was a gaming company, but it was basically 3 billion turnover. And the Google investment team just didn't even respond to the email. And that's 3 billion turnover. That's how big Google is, and that's what they obviously think. But the interesting bit was, we had a really good chat. He loved the product. He said, this is amazing. It's a game changer. It's perfect. He said, then, right, look, apply. And then you're going to have to go through a few hoops, which we applied and we did. He said, look, message me. And then, obviously, I'll talk to the guys. If we think we can make it work, we think we do something interesting, then we'll make it happen. Literally, the application went in. I messaged him. And within about 2 hours, he said, right, we're approved. Yeah. And it was crazy. But he bought into it, but he loved it. He was like, this is great. We need this on our program. We need to be dealing with you guys. We need to be partnering with you. Actually, funny enough, we had, I don't know if you know this, we had the account manager chasing us to have a conversation. So there's some really interesting bits within it. It's,
so we've met with them once.
Recommendations. Sorry, go on.
Well, we met with them once, and they wanted,
yep.
We did, and then they wanted to have a follow-on conversation. The person we met with was not their technical person; they were just, I guess, the initial meeting person. But the technical person is getting on with our tech team next week, the end of next week, to talk about what we're going to do. But the way that we would use them is the same way that we would use other middle layer solutions for us. That is, for areas in the world where we don't have nodes sold off into, but we still want to be able to reach them for games. We can use a Google. It's better than the Google Cloud. It's a little step closer to the end user, but it acts like the Google Cloud but closer. And then we can have games streamed off of that where there are no nodes, or if we have a surge in users in an area there are nodes, then we can use them as a backup system. So that's one of the ways we'll be using them. I'm sure there's going to be others once the tech team starts talking to them.
Well, I was going to say, even taking out the tech team, Google is one of the biggest companies in the world. We're now in their business partnership program. So there's connections into business partners, there's connections into organizations, there's VCs, there's investment partners that we get recommended into. And I think one of the things that obviously we can't talk about, we can talk about Google, because that's announced, it's all signed, blah, blah, blah. But there are, I'm going to say this again, there are 3 others in the background who are maybe well, definitely not as big as Google, but not far off. We're talking 10, 20, 30, billion turnover companies that we are talking to, who are talking about helping us in the same way. And I think with Google and these Web 2 businesses, first of all, it gives validity to the Web 3 business, but secondly, it means that we work not within this circle which we love, which is the Web 3 space, but we're working in a bigger environment.
YOM.